Hola so. Ani nga chu ti chu phache changsong. The lady Johnny Train as you. And then in number shoot day. And it's also Yana. Yasari Tingano. I think we started my Dharma brother Lama Kozen. He's here ready. I think we started the teaching. I want to say thank you everyone. Maybe somebody say, but I'm going to say thank you so much. I am very happy here. Thank you, Lama Kozen, my Dharma brother, coming join our retreat today. To Jiche, any Tambo Shushukur, Chi Yorwa, Pajite Imbayote, Chinambaka Telecine, Pepata Injini first. Offering the mandala for the teaching, recursive teaching, the offering the mandala. Yeah, these two things, English and the Tibet.
Rinche la so chi chu e so le ta lo che na ki che ba ke so ran cha sa we chu ba che cha che me ba la mar e wa ki om guru rana me de la ku sa mo ba to me ko wa kyam be ma yo to lam no ya se ji ya ba mari me be ma che se me che tam be che ki de me ba do so de sen ga wa kya yi ra ye ne mi do chen ju ko cha ra ku shin de nga yi so mi pa che ji do sa mo da be che la jo pa
All collected outer offerings such as jewels, my body enjoyments and all inner offerings, all collected virtues and infinite secret offerings, without attachment, we offer to the Guru. To protect mother beings endlessly wandering in samsara from the dangerous cliffs of mistaken paths, and dispel darkness of unknowing ignorance, please light the lamp of holy Dharma. With a mind of faith intoxicated with bliss, putting on the armor of irreversible perseverance, will singly focus body, speech, and mind, I shall practice profound holy Dharma.
Now, Lama Kozen La. Now, we cannot hear you.
Tashi dele. Good morning, my dear friends.
Good morning, my friend.
So, dear Khenpo Karten Rinpoche, do you want me to do a metta practice this morning?
Yes.
All right. My dear ones, I want to read the translation of Buddha's Metta Sutra. And this has a very short sutra, but it's filled with the joy of life. And this is the practice that we follow here, and also it's inherent in the heart of our Rinpoche. He lives this life every day, so I'm so grateful to share it with you. Metta Sutra. This is the way of those who follow the Dharma. They have become skilled and peaceful. They seek the good and they follow the path. May they be able and upright, straightforward, of gentle speech and not proud. May they be content and easy wherever they are. May they be unburdened with their senses calm. May they be wise and not arrogant. May they not seek followers or supporters. May they live without desires for the possessions of others. May they do no harm to any living being. On this one should reflect, may all beings be happy. May they live in safety and joy. All living beings, whether weak or strong, old or young, man or woman, smart or foolish, healthy or disabled, seen or unseen, near or distant, born or to be born, may they all be happy. Let no one deceive or despise another being, whatever their status. Let no one through anger or hatred wish harm to another. As parents watch over their children, willing to risk their own lives to protect them, so with a boundless heart may we cherish every living being, bathing the entire world with unobstructed and unconditional loving kindness. Standing or walking, sitting or lying down, may we remain mindful of this heart and this way of living that is the best in all the world. May this sublime abiding, holding no fixed views, obtain pure-hearted clarity of vision and freedom from sensual desires. In this state, one is free from the cycle of rebirth and death. And that was the Buddha's teaching. And for us, we have made it a practice of loving kindness, metta, for ourselves, for someone we care for someone we don't know, for someone that we have difficulty with, for all beings, and then back to ourselves. The Buddha reminded us many times that we can look for 10,000 kalpas and not find even one person more deserving of our love than we ourselves. So the Buddha asks us to start in our own heart with loving kindness. And if you will, everyone take a deep breath and hold it. And let it out. And then take your right hand and put it over your heart and your left hand on top. And then I need someone to repeat after me. Would someone be willing to just repeat after me? And everyone keep your mics on and then repeat as the person repeats after me. Do I have a volunteer? David.
I could do that, sure.
Thank you. So everyone say this along with David. May I be well.
May I be well.
May I be happy.
May I be happy.
May I know love.
May I know love.
May I know peace.
May I know peace.
If everyone will take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out and put your hands out in front of you as if you're offering something to someone, and think of someone that's easy to love. This morning I'm loving our Rinpoche, Khenpo Karten Rinpoche. So think of someone that's easy to love, a parent, a child, a friend, a partner, And to this easy to love person say, may you be well.
May you be well.
May you be happy.
May you be happy.
May you know love.
May you know love.
May you know peace.
May you know peace.
Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out. And if you can, raise your hands a little higher and wider. And now think of someone that you don't know, an anonymous, androgynous figure somewhere in the world. And to this unknown person, let us say, may you be well.
May you be well.
May you be happy.
May you be happy.
May you know love.
May you know love.
May you know peace.
May you know peace.
Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out. And if you can, raise your hands a little higher and wider. And now think of someone that's difficult to love, someone that you have disharmony with, someone that you have anger or resentment or any kind of negative thought. And to this person, let us say, may you be well.
May you be well.
May you be happy.
May you be happy.
May you know love.
May you know love.
May you know peace.
May you know peace.
Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out. And now let us open our arms to the whole world of all beings of fur, feathers, scale, and skin. For all of life, let us say, may you be well.
May you be well.
May you be happy.
May you be happy.
May you know love.
May you know love.
May you know peace.
May you know peace.
Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out. And now let us grab wonderful, wonderful karma from the universe. Let us grab wonderful intent and wonderful metta and bring back to our very own hearts. And as we sit here, let us remind ourselves, may I be well.
May I be well.
May I be happy.
May I be happy.
May I know love.
May I know love.
May I know peace.
May I know peace.
Take a deep breath and hold it. And let it out and relax. My friend David, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
The Buddha tells us that even 1 ounce of resentment or anger is like holding a burning charcoal, hoping that someone else gets burned. So if I was mad at David, I would be holding this burning charcoal saying, burn, David, burn. And the only one who gets hurt by our anger is ourselves. And so the Buddha asked us to approach the whole world with loving kindness again and again. And sometimes in my own heart, I've looked at someone and been angry with them. And I've had to take a deep breath and go back and say, may you be well, may you be happy, may you know love, may you know peace. And sometimes I've had to say that many times until my heart clears of anger and discomfort, until I can really look at someone and think of them as a perfect child of the Buddha doing the best they can. And so for my temple and my practice, this is the very best I can do. This is the essence of Buddha's teaching, to practice loving kindness for all beings. And I want to tell you that doesn't mean we have to agree with all beings or even support bad actions. There are some actions that we do that are terrible, terrible karma. But it means that we have to understand that all of us get stuck in anger, desire, and ignorance. All of us, every being on earth. And in practicing the Buddha's way, we're slowly able to let that go, able to just brush it off and embrace the heart of Buddha. This is my very best, very special teaching for all of life. And I see Tsomo here, an old friend. Hello, Tashi Dile, my old friends. I see up there. Thank you, Rinpoche. This is my very best heart of Buddha. Thank you for allowing me to share this. And looks like COVID is going down. So I hope maybe this year or certainly next year you can come back and do a retreat at our Dharma Center. We would be so very happy to welcome you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lama Kozi. Do you have any other teachings, my friend? Maybe.
From me, I would like to maybe do the Heart Sutra in English.
Yeah, maybe meditation and maybe 15 minutes, what you normally, your daily practice share with, can you share with us a little bit?
I can.
Okay.
We do the Heart Sutra every day. The Heart Sutra is the chant to Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. And I think in Tibetan, what is the name of Avalokiteshvara in Tibetan?
Jirezek.
Jirisik, yes. I'm going to chant this and then we will do a deep meditation for 10 minutes. Is that okay?
Perfect. Perfect.
Great Heart of Wisdom Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when deeply practicing Prajnaparamita, clearly saw that all 5 aggregates are empty, and thus relieved all suffering. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form itself is emptiness. Emptiness itself form. Sensations, perceptions, formations, and consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked by emptiness. They neither arise nor cease, are neither defiled nor pure, neither increase nor decrease. Therefore, given emptiness, there is no form, no sensation, no perception, no formation, no consciousness. No eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no sight, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of mind consciousness. There is neither ignorance nor extinction of ignorance, neither old age and death nor extinction of old age and death. No suffering, no cause, no cessation, no path, no knowledge, and no attainment. With nothing to attain, a bodhisattva relies on prajnaparamita, and thus the mind is without hindrance. Without hindrance there is no fear. Far beyond all inverted views, one realizes nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future rely on prajnaparamita, and thereby attain unsurpassed, complete, perfect enlightenment. Therefore know the prajnaparamita as the great miraculous mantra, the great bright mantra, the supreme mantra, the incomparable mantra which removes all suffering and is true, not false. Therefore we proclaim the Prajnaparamita mantra, the mantra that says, Gate gate para samgate bodhi swaha. Gate para samgate bodhi swaha. Gate para samgate Te Bodhisattva. And that is our version of the Heart Sutra in English. Going on to the other shore, to pass the other shore, having never left right where we are right now. Arasamgate Bodhisvaha. Now, my friends, would you like to do a 10-minute sitting meditation, Khenpo?
Yes.
Okay. My friends, I'm going to give you our version of the meditation. So many flavors of Buddhism. Our Vajrayana friends, our Theravada friends, our Mahayana friends, all have a slight version, but it's all like ice cream. Theravada ice cream for me is like strawberry. Mahayana is sort of like banana. And Vajrayana, I sort of think of that as like a tutti frutti. It's got a little bit of everything in it. So now meditation is like that also. Many different styles, but all the same meditation, all reaching into our heart and great stillness. So I'm going to ask you all to take a deep breath in and let it out. And the Buddha tells us that a straight back is a good thing if we're able to sit up straight, and if not, to lay down into a straight back laying down. And we think of a string going from our head down to our hips. And if the string is pulled up tight, and then you relax, and then you rock a little bit side to side, that the spine will seek its natural level. In our tradition, we breathe in and out through the nose. We put our tongue at the roof of our mouth, touching the back of our front teeth. We keep our eyes open and downcast at about 45 degrees. And in this time, we follow our breath in and fill our bellies and have our bellies expand. Then we release and let the air go back out of our nose, and our breath will join the universe. And then again, we will visualize the universe coming in through our nose and filling our bellies, and then back out again. And in this process, we seek the quiet, meditative peace of the Buddha's teaching. Remember, the Buddha tells us that mind is Buddha. There is no one here without mind. There is no one here without Buddha. Breath in, breath out. And I will time 10 minutes. Is that okay, Rinpoche? Listen, this wonderful sound takes us back to our true home. May the infinite light of wisdom and compassion so shine within us that the errors and vanities of self may be dispelled. So shall we understand the changing nature of existence and awaken into spiritual peace. Our great master Thich Nhat Hanh tells us that peace is one breath away. In the most difficult of times, one deep breath can bring us back to peace. Thank you for letting me share this morning, my dear friends.
Thank you so much. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
And my dear one, I'm going to go to another temple meeting right now.
Oh,
Give
okay.
another Dharma talk. Will you excuse me for leaving?
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank
But-
you, my friend. I
but-
may talk to you soon.
Please, and we're going to have you here shortly to help us with our ceremony on Zoom. And also, if you have a newsletter, I would love to get it.
Yes.
Thank you,
Okay.
my dear ones. Good to have been here.
Thank you. Thank you. Hola, so that rain. Any Chamala, Chopin, Santa Tashi delays. The sugar in Dambotilla. Any Terengachita, Lota Rishilani. The New Year treats a losak and some. That it long Humalayang and the Tajanan Sherry and the Taloyang Tajanani. Or the Chindoku is.
I'd like to wish everyone good morning, greetings wherever you are. As we do every year, we're now conducting our New Year's retreat.
A long Humayang Tajanani si, Taloya Tajanani Chigiwa.
So we did it last year, and now we're doing it this year.
I say end Zoom. Last year we did end Zoom and used. Unfortunately, last year we cannot be together and only use the Zoom this year also and Zoom. First, I really want to say thank you so much, everyone coming here for the retreat, for the teaching. Okay, I really want to say first. You think I am always talk for the others. He is the teacher. Sometimes I talk too much. Sometimes I say, you know, when I talk, I give the Dharma teaching. Feeling is the Dharma teaching is back to my heart. When I give the talk, is first one is the beneficial to me. That's why I always say, thank you so much for coming here for my class. This is what I want to say. Any tanga chu train samla de ge yude chane ta samseya de ge ta yurum dordu jenge ma shogin si sangwa pinyon da ji.
So as for the meaning of retreat and the benefits, I'd like to say a few words about that.
Any samseya de chu tanga chu bar samja ya tang samseya de je ne samja ya ji la. Lu ma yisem ke leka kare na ya sabju kare na te ne kap ji la any pat tumbertab ne any samja ne kap ji la samseya de de ji la ko ko yo ri.
So the word in Tibetan that we're translating as retreat is sam, and it actually has the literal meaning of borders or boundaries. So in a retreat, we place some boundaries on our conduct of our body, speech, and mind.
Today chane cham kap langa chun chamla desia dila. Ani lutso wala tene zubo khorang ani khamba nala dene makma thwa chene lutso wala sena chamde chitang. Yang kap la nga cham damne. Tanga chun chamchana kecha sheju mangta ne kechi chinde ke. Ani mela kecha sheju mangta with chinde ke. Ani phile nubi yala dokodowa. 소수 뭐 장난하더래 요거도가 근데 소수 주로 빨라더래 요거도 제초나나더래 요거도가 마치 쌈들 깨자시에는 야보 요리시거든 깨자시에 당 노와라서 받더니 지 송어 왕께 멜 폭통도나 좀지 든들 띠네 아니 깝깝라 나근 참지 나 남는 나 제세 아니 나참 쪼라시야다 아니 개치식은 참고 마트 가래리 시디잖아요 신 딱가장의 공도 쉬바나지 신 딱보잖아 딱바라이라 신 송네 애니 띵바디 쉽신게 양의 신 마가 자발라마게 가래송고 요리시다네 주랑 그신 딱바라이라 주랑냠다 성거리지 근데 송고요 어디 인도잖아니 니 때라 만다와 깝깝라 루근 참 좋아라시 깝깝라 나근 참 좋아라시 깝깝라 생근 참 좋아라시 단 dombe 참아 dom나 아니 르가이 송가 아니 참라데 근데 정탐나 여보래도 마성와이나 깝깝라 르조 깝깝라 나조 깝깝라 심조세 어떤데 지세나 아니 여보이사리
So sometimes these boundaries have more to do with our body, where we stay isolated in a retreat setting, don't meet others. And then sometimes the boundary we're placing is more on our speech. Sometimes we talk too much. We think it's good to talk, but sometimes what we say can offend others, can cause conflict, in our family even, with our friends, in the Dharma center, in society. So recognizing that sometimes we put a boundary on our speech. We don't speak for some time and to others, and this is a kind of a boundary on our speech. But then primarily the main retreat is the boundaries that we place on our mind. As my root guru Sanjay Tenzin Rinpoche always said, keep hold of your mind. So using mindfulness and introspection, being aware of what is happening in our mind and holding it in the direction that we wish. This is the boundary that we place on our mind. And so sometimes if we can place all three of these boundaries for a retreat on our body, speech, and mind. And other times we can do it primarily focused on one of those.
I want to tell you the story of my life. I was 21 years old. I went 3-month retreat in my monastery. We have 9 lamas all together. We stay at one retreat center. But we did the body retreat because we cannot meet other people. Also same time, we never talk to each other 3 years. We never talk. You cannot talk to each other. All my best friend, the non-monks, also my best friend. What we did, if we needed something, ask to borrow maybe pens, papers, something like that. Sometimes I don't have enough to eat food. I asked, I need the cheese, I need the butter, sambal like this. I wrote the note, something, give it to him, the monk, then he give it back to me. We call it communication not speech, not talk each other. Also same times, how much we can do, the morning we wake up 5 o'clock, we go bed 12 o'clock. We wake up 5 o'clock, go bed 12 o'clock. 3 years, 3 months, 3 days. We meditate also. We don't have any bed. We just select, we have each Lama have the one box, small. We stay there 24 hours. Sometimes we sleep 12 to 4 o'clock, 4, 5. Sometimes we sleep just like this. Yeah. This is the really very good lessons to me. Actually, I was very young, 21 years old. It's the first year, it's very difficult for me. Second year is more, wow, this is very interesting. All the lamas, my Guru Sanjit, he come, he bring all the best lama to the retreat. They give so many good teachings. The second year is very busy. The last year is a retreat. I am so happy. I am so happy there. I really want to stay there another 3 more years. The retreat almost finished before 1 month. I am very sad. One day I asked my Guru, is it okay? I can stay here another 3 more years. He said no. Because new Lama, they're waiting for my room. I have to share with them. I cannot keep the 6 years there, my room. Yeah, this is the long retreat. I shared my story, and yeah, lots of things. That ngake retreat logic dot che. And in a train music to the machine, one and in a Mumana Jinsen, and it's our Lama to Jubalama, so what up green, and it's Chiranzo Nambakiat, and this in the Sowatarochi. I ring around to trains honey ilamato, you marry. Sometimes I really very sad. I don't know how to say this word. So it's we call retreat. Samba. Tibet we call Samba used the name for whole life. They stay in the mountain we call retreat. Here only half days, 2-3 hours. They call Samba. I don't know. Unfortunately, we have only 2 days. I wish we can do more. Every day retreat and your home. Tatri Ditane, Takang so what Taki, Lamala so what Taki, Chinabea Lamala so what Tamne, any Tangaran to train, you might need to chew, give it out any, take a cheese in any sociology, Chulandoa, Chulandoa, Lantrabasu, and Truba issues in Chawa. Oh, the young show, somebody, and it's another so what up shows.
So now, as we usually do, we'll make prayers, requests to the root and lineage gurus. So,
Pray for the that Nima Nigger ring de la, and the Lord Chusundro, Chu Lamdendro, Lam Trupase, Nima Nigger ring, Nima Nigger Nangni, gave it our take, Metse Kora, and the Lord Chusundro, Chu Lamdendro, Lam Trupase, Trubaishes in Charity Show. They Lama Concho, then they saw what time did and the Chiranzoka, the young show, somebody, make what the religious and worries.
And as we make this prayer, aspire that in this retreat and for our whole life, that our mind may turn towards the Dharma may become the path may be free of obstructions, and that delusions may arise as innate wisdom. So make this aspiration as we make prayer.
Ninja Jimbo Zudin, 말이다. sim 탐 제정오 여리당 진고로 점순 참다 거린 송밤이 배방고 진라마 담배 섭제들 주마미 발라 고르랍데데 그베산 사신 접선 지호 주순제 라바란 제드소 인제 진보 주대 님에드 주네 모람 진보 압자다 내가 당한 진비스메도 덤바토지 진랑 그사 같은 농심베르 넘버란 춘주 진앙 외싱대 람소른지 미팅진용 띵잠츠데 로드 타예 샤블라 소라 잠바르도 칭아 라완조르신 로드 분산 이시드 지담 덴지자 진조론 존지 베지양 판초샤나 베몽고산 오민주제 인제 보당네 드숨산제 공제 응원이 라심주공 숨동제 바 자발라마 나랑고서 용대 산제 공단념나양 가진 산제 공에 라병공 자발라메 샤블라 소완데 다손도블로나 추스 가다속지 동gen제 비나 인데시 소마르제 바강소다 덴드리든베 주제 첨베제 심바른데 바탐진 데시 나모야 담바 슬로예게다 로단입진게 다담메게 남다 도와군제 다케지 삼 함지 게더다게 주된 마준로와난 타다냠베 심진 탐지 시제동 타달레다데 남로를 띵제 대발라나 메바 양다 바조바 산지죠 공파로 뭐지더니 제내장 더바샤 나대 치드 담배추 사몬드니 최진의 신에 아니 냠슬랑 발교 냠바고니 신차.
O benevolent root guru, who is in essence all Buddhas of the past, present, and future, with great devotion I prostrate to you and go for refuge to you with my body, speech, and mind. Please grant your blessings to be cared for by you inseparably in this lifetime and all of my future lives. Clean ground of pure ethical discipline, beautified by mountains of unfathomable samadhi, illuminating all things with wisdom light of the sun and moon, Supreme Buddha, who accomplishes the welfare of all, please bestow virtue and goodness. Your mandala expanding throughout space and knowledge of all things, beautiful thousand-fold light striking the lands of trainees, fully illuminating all of Buddha's teachings in their entirety. With devotion I prostrate to the great jewel of the Kagyu. O glorious and precious root guru, please take seat of lotus at my heart. Caring for me in your great kindness, please grant attainments of body, speech, and mind. Equal to all Buddhas in qualities of realization, yet surpassing all Buddhas in kindness to me, I pray at the feet of my root guru, O protector, please turn the minds of myself and all beings towards the Dharma. All you who have become disciples of the Sugatas, those gone to bliss, throughout the billions of worlds of the 10 directions, all of you who wish to hear the Dharma raining down here and now, may you come here. Namo, in languages of devas, nagas, and yakshas, languages of kumbhandas and human beings, in the sounds of whatever beings exist, in every language I shall teach the Dharma. Please listen well with the motivation of bodhicitta, thinking all mother sentient beings equal to the extent of space must by all means attain unexcelled eternal bliss of perfect complete Buddhahood. To accomplish this, I shall listen carefully without distraction to the Mahayana teachings being given here and put them into practice.
라소 다때 강시 심바를 사베 추데 다때는 가서 값을 봐봐대니 콘트롤 로드르 타예 근제 야주케니 당화 하자 당화 사모 아니 라왕 타시라 담바스야 어떤데 지르지 뒤토니 마 시야인시.
So the subject that we're going to look at this morning is the advice given to Lhawang Tashi by the Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé. So some very profound instructions that Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé gave to his disciple Lhawang Tashi.
아니 드니드 짠이 다 Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé 때 남타 너드지 슈아이나 아니 콩 드랍 줄거 발라 총네 아니 직동 제입자 쭉숨 란총 직동 제입자 급적 거글라 아니 거통나 어디들이 하지.
So to give a brief account of Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé's life, he was born. He lived in the 19th century, born in 1813, died in 1890.
99. Yeah.
Or 1899.
That's 다 강자자 아니 Kongtrul Jamgön Lodrö Tayé 아니 삼게 마차박 벤징 지비지 아니 차대요래 아니 락바르도 니마다까지 디나네 리미 다 드랍 줄거니 고송도 아니 리미데 자연 진짜 주제 왕보 진짜 왕보 당 아니 Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé 콩나바니 그 소르트네 아니 소르트 세나다 에 슉잡네 아니 리미 다 리미 용거 때문에 다보 차대요래.
So Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé was an incredible being, very high spiritual master, particularly in the Nyingma and the Kagyu tradition, but also founded at that time a tradition called the Rime in Tibetan, the non-partisan tradition, along with Jamgön Khyentse Wangpo. The two of them founded what became a new formation of a non-partisan tradition at that time.
Also, my root Guru Śāntideva Rinpoche, I am very close to the Jamgön Kongtrul Rinpoche, his lineage. I holding his lineage. I can say, because first Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé is the we talk about right now. The second Jamgön Kongtrul is the 15th Karma part. His son, the called Padin Chinchus. Then his student, the best student, is the my root Guru Śāntideva Rinpoche. Okay. First Jamgön Kongtrul, he gives all the teachings to 15th Karmapa. He give it to his son. His son give it to my root Guru. I am very close to the Chingon Chokson, Javian Chinse Wangbo, and Kongtrul Yungtin Jamso, Terjin Chojo Lingpa. This three is a very, very great master, the 19th century and come. I am very close. Also, I have this teachings received from Tibet. I was very, very young. 2 times. First, my uncle gave to me the oral transmission and the little teaching. I remember the letter, maybe before I came to the India, then my Guru Śāntideva, he also gave it to me. Actually, I have this oral transmission and the teaching. That's the way I want to share with you today. I don't know how to today we share because here Tibetan and English. Richard, do you have text here and Zoom screen?
I do. I can share it certainly on the Zoom screen. I have also put the link to the text in the chat.
If Tibetan people do have the text in your hand, then we don't need to share the two, one Tibetan, the one English that you can read if you have. I have this. I planned yesterday.
Rinpoche, kirang danda gare somba de puke tolne yankya sorna.
Lo la so. Shirang ma puke le jogi ya. Mari tse bola. Nge lako.
So everybody was joking that maybe translating to Tibetan for him, but I think for his Tibetan students, he should now explain in Tibetan.
Oh yeah, I think that Tibetan people here, I can see all my students, Sangha Tibetan people, they are in United States more than my age, maybe less than 13 years, 20 years. I believe their English is better than my working English. They understand. But I want to say something. That the Jamgön Kongtrul Rinpoche ke ani that the Juba se koran chin kong chok song ko Juba de nga tsawa lama chabji sanji tinji Rinpoche la pe masi bata Juba thani o cha de yore. Tambon Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé de ta nga su xie de ati nam tha de cha de yore. Ani di kapsa ani te jin chojo ling ba dan jawen chi ze wang bo khong na ba sum chin kong chok song ke ani remake te ba sort de o den de nang. Ni zane dan zu chi na ba nga si yore kong ge de ya ji kun zu chi na ba nga yong su zo ba cha chang wa de nga za wa la ma wang long ti de chi yore. Di ju ba de kan de song le chi di zane ani Jamgön Kongtrul ko kuma de ke ani khorang ke loma Jetang loma mambo de tinani kalma ba kumten chonga ba ani khachap dor jiri kalma ba kumten chonga khachap dor je se de la ani kar se Kongtrul sine Kongtrul ni ba de Kongtrul ni ba pardin chin je je shuri ani nga zawala ma de yun me na de ani pardin chin je je Kongtrul ni ba de cha de yuri o tin din de zane ani juban de la pe thani o den de yusi Then the chute in by Lhawang Tashi la dambe chute, nga chunchong kapsa in by na, ayang lama gemper Rinpoche ke, ngala, the desine, Tilong Chen de Yon, the getting you. Ani the genie, nga jala mayon, nga zawa lama jab the santi tinja Rinpoche de ne, ya, Tilong Chen Tong. Ani danghan zu dang, kaju ham zu dang, ani that is nana, you color was, that is called mambo ngi shuchari. 어디 리드자네 디티다 롱 차상 등을 주바오시 남자 준도 내추 마실은 흥어라 디티다 롱 주바 등을 누가 만도 다치시고 가세 매나 ning 등금에 어디 티 롱을 만도 주바 매시 어디 리드자네 가장에 삼노다니다 등을 티롱 주바 차상진도 아니 주바 양코랑 타니요 영국 건들 근데 리드자네 어디 리시 이시슈야 라서
So a couple more points here. So Rinpoche received all of the 5 major compositions of Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé, these transmissions of the non-partisan tradition. And if before giving a teaching, Rinpoche says, he always considers whether he has the transmission and the instructions of that teaching. And if not, then he won't give it. But this teaching is included in those that were given at that time, that he received first from his uncle, and then before he came to India from his root guru, Sanjay Tenzin Rinpoche.
Thank you, Samba. Lasso, can you share the text what you have?
Rinpoche, mirre la text yore.
Konso Tamala Yuri, right?
Lare, konso sama lo yore, konso dil migtana ne kyang tongmarwa.
Sezang, Chiran Samchar Karayo, any Chiran Tamala te Yuna, any te Tingo Esmadoas, any Yuna, Kadichige.
So if everyone has the text, then maybe we don't need to display it and we can continue looking at Rinpoche. But is there any opinions about that? Does anyone need to have the text displayed on the screen? Me, that Parcha Taya di Gugu Yoruba.
La.
Chucholing la tanda tsamala piyo ta pona ne nyamshu nange na ta situ marwala shin chucholing la piyo la tsamala tanda yangyo piyo khasinge piyo tanda yangyo piyo
Chilambatini Ras Show Lapala Yu, Tamala Show Lapala Yu.
Medengi Kawachina di iPad na tagiba.
Ale,
The ras Tanda Tana Shayan. Toche.
먼저 송전 남된 림보치기 셰제나 야가 도라.
Ale Lasso. Yeah.
And I'm afraid
Lasso.
the text I have is only English from the Lotsoa house. So.
Okay, they want to see my okay.
Actually, Rachel, the Tibetan is there also in the text that we shared. So everyone has it. They do have it either on their phone or on printed out.
Okay.
Seems we don't need to display it.
Re tatari laso. Ani tadi che. Oh, da deke nge tereng tambo tela ngarang so haja karwa zambo chirita. Nge yabochi samlo tangwa ina ngarang so sok ani tewa ina ya. Haja sunam chimbo, haja karwa zambo. Ngune taneri. Tandi laso te tambo te sonda.
So now, when I think about it, we were just all so fortunate to have this opportunity. It's so incredible to have this opportunity.
Da chirang nambe pache dan Jamgön Kongtrul siya de suyin batang di ke sungchu katse yuwa. Korang ke Jamgön Kongtrul ke sungchu de la pache bote yibju kala ji yurida. Yibju kala bote. Korang ke ta nandun rikpa zor se bakte. Yanin kebari dra, mi, zi, nyinga. Da rikpa ne chonga da ne chinga yongsu zokpa chasanga pe masin kebari. Ani te tola ta nyamni haja tengsa bote de inike. Ani ngune tane sai ting de la ani ta ngarang su lochim bero tsana yangsi en song yori sanje sha yug duli kapsa ani kung gawo ke jiwa thama de yin song yori jacha jari sanje kan doi nani lodin thaye shibse longti no sona jago lodin thaye de sanje korang ko longti yori ani te ngai jiwa yi kung gawo ke jiwa de yin song na de mambo song yori ta kang tar jang ani ngarang zu chi sabchun de chi la ni tata yin ba yin na yang ani tungin de chi ko khokso la ani ngunne ta ne chi thubasi sambasi ani gombasi tata ngarang zu lan de yu ji de ha cha kawa zambo ri chi.
So we may not have much of an idea of who Jamgön Kongtrul Tayé was, this incredible master, but his collected works are in some 40-something volumes, principally on the teachings of the Dharma, but also in all of the major and minor fields of knowledge, including poetry and medicine and astrology and logic and so on. At the time of Buddha, he's reputed to have been Ananda, Buddha's closest attendant and disciple. Sugi yangsi re yang sumbare kungawo sanje ki kabla kungawo. Then
sanje ke kabla kungawo Guru Rinpoche ke kapso ina bero tsana. Lochim bero tsana.
And then during the time of Guru Padmasambhava, he was is said to have been his previous incarnation of Bharocana, the great translator at that time. So he and besides his writings, he was also incredibly accomplished in his practice of Dharma.
Di chude ina tatayang achula tubase, sambase, gombase ne tatayimba ya dungi. Taturam nishi tsaki baka dungi tende chika kangan tedoli kapsu ina yang aranzu tusang gomsam si jelike kokaw yujete haja kawa zambora isi.
And for us during these turbulent times, there's so much degeneration in the world, to still have the opportunity to study these instructions, I think really we are just so fortunate.
Ola so, ta tende she, ta dela tambo, ta Lhawang Tashi la nangbo shadam songja, ta koran juza te la Lhawang Tashi la nangbo shadam si, juza ka meng te la, kanza koran Lhawang Tashi seke du jane te la nangbo shadam songja.
So the title, Advice Given to Lhawang Tashi, is a reference to the name of this disciple.
다 Lhawang Tashi 세야데 다다 Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé 게 로마 파치 베 침보지 인사리 간이시나 다단 Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé 코랑가 라마 잠벽이 유거 때는 제상난데 라마 잠벽이 대 유거근 제상난데 왕긴데 스마데 세안다 지다 왕긴데 쇼르 세야데 근데 니요거래 왕긴데 쇼르 세야데 Lhawang Tashi라 고고서 갑데드 라마 잠보테 Lhawang Tashi tang samdrup chudunike samdrup chudu seade chimichiri no korang lomarisha Lhawang Tashi seade wangin de shore seade Lhawang Tashi sare ta teni ke yaso wa tamne eni lama jambu de ma zamre is dina ne zensang na de yodo wa tan dina ni Lhawang Tashi seade ngusu pro ke thola yudu zane ani korang ki ngune shalhope masi nenga chimboji sare is
Rinpoche, ngi hapo ha goma son, kyang indicate tona de sonona.
Lo so sambala. Maybe the Lhawang Tashi is the Jamgön Kongtrul is the best. I think very good student because you can see the calling far from the Lama, right? Samba.
Calling the Lama from afar.
Yes. The under the Lhawang Tashi, he asked the Jamgön Kongtrul because that man is he's the very devoted Jamgön Kongtrul. He said, it's okay to I practice your I need your like the Guru yoga practice. Then Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé, he robbed all the Satya Kaju Gelo Nimas all together. This is the also they have his name. Then this is his name is the Wangin Shora. The Wangin Shora is also Lhawang Tashi. I think it look like Lhawang Tashi. Here, the Tibetan call Lhawang Tashi, the name is Lhawang Tashi also. I think he is the best student, the Jamgön Kongtrul Rinpoche. The text, the first, they have, sometimes they say, Namung Guru Tapam Karaya, the text. But the Got in a Kashichila, Namung Guru Tapam Karaya, Siachi, Kashichilando. The Yingachu Jutila, Mando. That they young Mabek Chiba inside. That they usually Jumsin the Kare into City Chane, the Chude and Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé, Kong Yang, Kadam Pichula, Yamlin Chimbonani. And the Konga Kadam Bak, when the Tane gave Shinichi Chadi. Today in the Tane, Tambo, any Kadam Bakata, sort donkey, the Pankara, Marmezela, and Chuparjuna. The Dangate, Kadam Bichuchi like Jane. The Richie now, sorry, is Pekashitila, Namung Guru, the Pankara Yasine, Georgila, and Chuparjuna, and the Nangwa. Or the Shai.
So Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé was also a great master of the Kadam tradition founded by Lord Atiśa. So in some versions of the root text, we have a homage paid in the beginning to Guru Sri Dipamkara, which is the name of Atiśa. Now in our root text here, we don't have that, but Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé being of the Kadam tradition, very learned in that tradition, it's appropriate for that to be there in some of the root texts. First of all, paying homage to Atiśa, the founder of the Kadam tradition.
Lasso, Tadeke Dambotela, any Chuberju Barindo, and Chuberju, and Gorun Bochilan, Chuberju, Gurup and Mar Dakjam Chia, Kaju Lame Singelo. Nibadeke, any Alona Chulajur, Kurmasi and the Chirindo, they didn't Lona Chulajur, Mado Tarpalamzin Hosom.
So in the first verse we have the words, I take refuge in Padmasambhava, O Kagyu Gurus, please grant your blessings. Please turn the minds of faithful ones towards the Dharma, that we embrace the path of liberation beyond return.
Dambotekin Chuberjuba, Nibadeke, any Sombar Damjawatang, Simchin Tamchi Lo Chusu Simba, the Nichik Molana, and the Chirisha.
So in the first line, the composer pays homage, and in the second line he makes a commitment to composing the text for the benefit of all sentient beings.
디 담부 책이 되게 아니 컨트롤 타에 돼 아니 가지고 니마 니가 이 바게 무스트니 띵거도 안 그룹에 막 닥점치 가지고 라메 신절럽시디잖아요. 기땅 아니 콩 리미크 템베 다보리 리스미 페 템베 다보리 티나니 코랑게 냠니 쪼어데 아니 니마다 가지 리스크 냠니 나게 이두잖아요. 슈퍼트 리시 주바리 리시.
And here we can see explicitly his connection with the Nyingma and the Kagyu tradition. And first of all, taking refuge in Padmasambhava, founder of the Nyingma tradition, and then the mention of the Kagyu gurus. So, Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé was a founder and practitioner of the non-partisan, the Rime tradition, and within that, his main practice was the Kagyu and the Nyingma traditions.
다들 유거든이 간진 공부 아티시 망부 나도 알았다 기본도나 생났다 기본도도 있었지.
In the second verse, he says, Atiśa, the protector of the snowland, said, among many examine your speech. When you stay alone, examine your mind. Briefly, he taught these 2 points.
단디나니 강테네 말한게 쉬바 아니 guru namong guru atisha sin namong guru tapang karaya sin golin super ju dosi pecha khashil do shu ba din dani ta tak ta le ngwa kona ke kadamba ke chuji yin ba da dambo lungding ke khorang ka long khong tu sa te sanjil khong tu ko mdo dambo long khong tu sa te joji party atishin de je song ri sen de chane gang te ne 조지는 출발주바 요하데 요네 야보도 왔다 중치들이 지가 돈을 내고도 왔어.
So here we get an indication of how it is appropriate for some of the texts to have the homage to Atiśa in the beginning also, because here in the second verse we see Jamgön Kongtrul Lodrö Tayé quoting the master Atiśa, and so thus indicating here as well that he is a practitioner of the tradition of the Kadam.
근데 전에 나 삼바타실랑에 다때 무망아 주대 병지티 바 삼바 출랑라 유저리티 hard ever dharma nectar. Do you have this little book? 대인안에 고란 가랑에 page 10 망부나네 알아 딱 봤다 기본도 생각다시 송세야 돼 기본도 생각다시 송세야 돼 그 무딘라 아테샤세야지 디나나 디오 말이지 슈딘라 수송리시도 조지 파데 아테샤 송리세야지 anything 있잖아요 줄랑 값서랑 그 곳은 뭐 양내 딱지 지시니 당이 있어야 또 되니 된지 발해 것도 와.
So we see the same meaning in Rinpoche's own heartfelt advice of Dharma Nectar on page 10, the 10th verse. When among many, watch your speech. When staying alone, watch your mind. It is taught. In all actions, again and again, check your body, speech, and mind. That is my heart advice. So this phrase here, it is taught, is an implicit reference to Atiśa. He was the one who gave these instructions. So I'm really passing on these same instructions here in my own composition.
어디니 있잖아요. 대시다들라 측르기든 리세쇼 마고와시 든르시는 리세쇼. 아니 이는 이በት 자와데 칸은 이반 영어고 대신되니 따도 송 콘데 탐지 랑기신.
So I think we will deal with the main meanings. We don't need to go over everything word by word. In the next verse it says, the mind is the root of faults, and the mouth is the gateway for these faults to emerge. Let's always watch over both.
콘데 탐지 랑기신 정도와 노에.
Lotus, Dishula, all of samsara and nirvana are your own mind.
Oh yeah, that is yet in Yamdri. That in the Chane, yin nipet zawa sea the Kanda Yongo Yuri see the Chane, yi sea the Pangarang Chondaina, Jarbona Hichi Korang. Jarbona Hichi. Yi Tambu Kubantin, on in the Litchi Chikondo, game again also to Patama, the Yik Zo Sene. Any Kubantin in the Chane, any Ngala, any same Kotola Yone. Tambo Yik Madima ina, Lunga Saptu Sela Yongumar. Tambo yik samlong khone ani di ju ne ani yu lunga ka sapchu sen yu go do de yin de zane yin ni pa zawa ri la yin de ge zawa yin de ge zawa ri la yin de me ge zawa ri de ni ka le ja chu do
In the arrangement of our root text here, Rinpoche wants to see this next line that looks like it's from the beginning of the next verse, all of samsara and nirvana are your own mind, as actually belonging to the previous verse. And so in this verse, it's pointed out that our mind is like the king who orders the actions of this body and speech. You know, if the mind is virtuous, it is directed in a positive direction, then not only the mind but the body and speech will also follow in that direction, and vice versa.
Oh, the Risha. That the Yan Hindam Chuju Dirtinani, Dema Ngabatinani, Sin Kunzi Wang Jarbota, Luna Gedek on you boy. Lunga Tanang Gilamatove, June the same the song in Hunganis. Then you chip what Chikanija.
And the meaning of this comes again in my own heartfelt advice of Dharma Nectar on page 5, the 5th verse. Mind is the king with power over all. The body is the slave, whether of virtue or vice. Not emphasizing imitation virtue of body and speech. Always watch your mind. That is my heart advice.
Dinani Tangeta Shui Basamba. Yi Nipan Jung Zawari, yi the Givan Jung Zawari, Securita. The Shuibe. Yi the Nipan Jung Zaw.
Lawless. So
Same Dela, Nekazan on the Shema, same Dela, same gave us him to them, gave us him Nidoa. Tambo same case someone corner, Lula Katang, Ala Katang, and Yopona is Jukuyoa. Same case someone Mankoa ina, Lunaka, the subject you by the Selanguyuma. Jumsi Delatine, same say at the Tambo in the Jabona, it is song Gorisia, Jumsi Delatuki. The need to Tanite gave us him solitude. Gave us him Sony by ina. Ta gom jaya tang ta yosu to pachama de pena te atang gaten gate parang gate parasang gaten body se ya thi rongkin te sukthigi yori siditane give same ko nipa chimbo de ya thi ro yori ngarang ju lunga chama ti tin ya thi ro yori o tinde yin ju chane yin ni pe chawa de yin give chawa se ya ta ni pe chawa de lik pe chawa yosu to pachama de sim de ya si.
So thus we see here that the mind is the root of all, meaning positive and negative. It's the root of faults and problems, as well as the root of goodness. And if we are going to progress along the path, as represented by the mantra of the Heart Sutra, Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisoha, what is going to take us in that direction? How are we going to be led on that path? It's our mind. It's the positive power of our own mind increasing in its positive energy. This is what will take us on that path.
Ya samba. Ya la so. Uni tende shedu ta teke simsia de la give sim ki tam give sim ni yo ba de nge dong ji she ge si dong de yang di te chula yo. Metana message ya chula.
Message nana shower be.
Message the WhatsApp nana tanang actual message ya. I leave the message to you in the WhatsApp this morning. Any
Lhawang Tashi call
Lhawang Tashi call Marin, they ngak Tiyajitrawa, Nintam Chuju the secondary shit.
Lolos nga computer nana ye.
I'm
Lolos.
putting the Gomaring, the share chicken, I will share for you. 1 second. Okay, and the skin.
Okay, so Rinpoche would like to tell one story about virtuous and non-virtuous actions, and he's going to share this text with us.
Unfortunately, you don't have this there. Okay, here. There you go. Here to here. First, I want to share. Maybe you can. First, I want to share the Tibetan here. Okay. Good. Oh yeah. Sure. Oh yeah. Church. Lasso,当然的嘛，的，他的呢，马就拉个，我东西现在送去，那俺们这个暂时去军进去没见些，没见些啦，空个不值当，空怕为你装饰去的得有把的意思，得了南京。先出报道，弄超这些有把的是不得了，别看了没人看的那就有的话的，派不了控制你们说，老不是这张时间不了马平白的意思，不了平头感觉所有马的，他居然控制3年个马的，弄3年个马的是干这些呢？你们就了不得这个你们了，派不了人工什么，还将大家不忙不是特别些呢？要把不老的能都知道的，你们的什么能通话的。不还讲干的，怕刚把参加些，现在我啦，满大为经常些来把的，但是怕为你的什么热议，怕不了动的些把的，他的对的来不了动的些把的，他们可不同的，他们可不同的些个人，我人个不，我现在了讲个认真的东西，讲个63年个讲个有啊，对认真个东西我现在了，他得别来讲个有先了别讲个有。这个东西，讲个今年上班的年纪，得记得希望受领导了。今年工作的外家农儿当看那受领导，这些些，这个的中上了当地罢了。我那讲个你的刚家的东西，说看东西，说这个东西的东西，我的不，我讲个的刚说那样的家的东西，另外把个的讲到。가래 덕보 잡나야 내 갈래 소종세네 코 잘거라 와세다 다때 그 가래 띵게 요리 세도잖아 나철 게베셈지도 먹게셈이 요리지 저랑 그 먹게셈 유몽 소들라 덕보 잡나 때 저랑 사한다고 그러시다 때 저랑 판거리지 게베소 삼바다 닌지에다 돈이가 따와 라서 봐디 짱거데 덕보 잡아이나 근데 때 잘거라 와送的다 근데 책임 보죠 뽀디 내 장가 강수네야 대자지도 지리다 말이스. 버디 롱그 난도 참아 랑상 학원에 되는 정도 세 마롱와 메게베셈 장근라와든 타투 동네 게베셈 lok한 전에 그 정보식도 줘봐. 롱도 하자 고지 침보신도 된데낭 어머다 뺀데낭 나랑주 셈들어야 장니요 봐. 세 정보의 정보다 니게 남까지 요데 고지 자와 타르토 셈 델라티는 산지제 고방 토토도 내봐요. 나주 셈도 나고 자고 봐. 셈임바 짱가 따와 먹게 셈. 말에 뇌차 예당 아자 타도서 참아 나보리. 디 다빠든 콜로 쫀동 난다 타르도 메반 방네 짜 마시바 데송아리. Deni Junji the Musimba Tone, Tatu Tonguri. Gypsy Jankatav say Maromba the Yona, Tepsi don't also deva you marry. Then this same Zangin the MG sinking telang nipa tinshi tang, Bayu the Hajakichi Bori, the young Junjole. Dan ni the Kurte tang, Luton Soa me like him. Give a year, Yam Laya Sinanya, Naya Yamasa. Simpson Deba Namla let Timbatan Shivita, Sola Patra, so she done it at Tamoji, yes or Sumbatar, to do rank the same the Latachi, Hajang Karche. Chirtan Chuseva the same the Chirtan Chupa Sevan de la main Samji Chubatang. Don't nip Chupachi, Maya, Dortina, Chita Triple Cups, Chuper, Ransang Mangoa, good. Sanji Chupala Mandawa, so you pena. Shinto Garon Shila Chantuna, Semila Nama Mimba, Nang Mila Sama Mimba, Snanika Mimba, Snanika Mamimba Jeson. Be data Narang to a Sichupu Zuk so Hajan Zijang, Nang Ranju Madarwata. Young Gachila Nang Yami Abu Yuja, Setsula Bepa Namjo, Chalo Chupu Zuk Kayamiba. Regular Sayang Chupu Zok gets longer Dombata Dimbala. Nyamli Yuti Mambo Yopatavari. Gaches Salaya Chupuzu, Yepso Minaya, Nanduranju Chutimadawachi or Tashawatavari Yuji, Sombata. Nato Sina Nika Mibrasina Yabodo, Jasilali Subdumale. Rangan Trupa Rangi Matana, Chupuzuki Chumisi. There's a Junda Rangan Trupa Latani Pawa Jasilali. Yes, Sombatar, Yula Kanga Kapsina, Rangal Lunga, Yesum de, Pada Dimpa, Tachi Gu. Tachi Sijen. Gong Dungni Shibata so Mron when the chat Shedan, Ajar so, you mount of some Janka the Tatu Tangne, Zambu Janka, Sambata Hinji, Shirap Tani, the Dapo Jane, Sochon Sibata, Hintanji, Shibare. Tatina the Sipo Sijang, Jacoran Pe, took the twin Chatan Sipot and the Chichadi. That's a Tange, now I will share with you.
So here's the story from Rinpoche's commentary to the heartfelt advice of Dharma Nectar. In ancient times in India, there was a holder of the Brahmanical lineage who lived in the same village as his son. The son was usually impatient and angry. No matter how much the father advised his son about the faults of anger and so forth, it did no good. One day the father prepared a sumptuous noontime feast for his son's birthday and served it. His son suddenly came in and saw the food. Overjoyed, he knelt at his father's feet and felt happier than he had ever had before. Then as they were eating, the father told his son, "Oh, son of my heart, I have two wolves fighting in my mind. One of the wolves is love, compassion, peace, and happiness. The other is anger and resentment, pride and suffering." After thinking about it briefly, the son asked, "Well, which wolf is going to win?" His father replied, "Son, whichever wolf I feed is going to win." The son immediately understood the meaning of the story, and from that moment on regarded negative, harmful mental states like a wolf which he drove away and turned his mind in a positive direction. He became a good son. This story has a great deal of meaning. Taking it as an example, we have both good and bad factors in our mind. On the good side, love and compassion are the root of all good qualities, and on their basis we can ultimately attain Buddhahood. We must take charge of our mind. Bad, non-virtuous mind is like a wolf of ignorance, attachment, hatred, pride, jealousy. It leads them all. Because of it, up to the present, we have never been able to get out of the prison pit of samsara and have been cast into misfortune. On the basis of recognizing its faults, we must expel it. As long as we have this bad, wolf-like mind, we will not be happy. To distinguish positive and negative mental states, conscientiousness and mindfulness and alertness are extremely important. As said in the Guide to the Bodhisattva Conduct, better to be without wealth, veneration, body, or livelihood. Better that other virtues decline than those of the mind. You who wish to guard your mind, guard mindfulness and alertness, even at the cost of your life. This I request with folded palms. Thus it is extremely important to examine your mind at all times. There are many types of Dharma practitioners, some true practitioners, some who are practitioners in name only. To put it briefly, A Dharma practitioner should be someone who does not exhibit faults when encountering adversity. Buddha spoke of 4 types of practitioners, taking a fruit as an example. It may look ripe on the outside but be unripe inside. Ripe on the inside but not on the outside. Ripe on both outside and inside, or unripe on both outside and inside. The meaning of this example is that a practitioner may look very nice on the outside with title, appearance, and so on, but be mentally undisciplined within. Then there are some who have good practice within, but externally as a secret yogi, give no sign of being a practitioner. The third category would be practitioners who look like Dharma practitioners with vows of novice or full ordination, and also have a good practice within. Fourth is the unfortunate person who has neither the outward appearance of a Dharma practitioner nor a disciplined mind within. It is best if we can be ripened within and without. As said in the 37 practices of the Bodhisattvas, if one does not check one's own mistakes, one may look like a Dharma practitioner, but not act like one. Therefore, continually examining and abandoning one's own faults is the practice of the Bodhisattvas. Being conscientious in all activities of body, speech, and mind, examine them, and like in the story above, drive out the wolves of attachment, hatred, pride, and so forth, and take care of the good wolves of love, compassion, and wisdom, and nurture them. This is my heart advice.
올라서 아니 라서 아니 되듯이 what time we have lunch time is it the 12 right what time
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. Okay, now we tend I want to give to here ngati jai parsing de kamachul jagi.
Okay, I'd like to give a 10-minute break now for a little tea break. So we will convene about 10 minutes.
You can just leave like this. I can leave like this. Yeah. That's all. Hola so.
Ani Rinpoche, sigche decho yapo puyi la yapo drogimendu. Kansana. Unisana sigche gola korde tamshe rangi sam shene dulsam mero.
No. The 지금 다다 주랑 그 수야 되랑 콘데 탐지랑 그 셈 이네 봐 이네 들상 소아미시야 때 마잖나 this lim보다 지금 도고도 때 임바 있나야 야 쇼로카 드거와 지 지레 쇼로카 드리드 아니
얘는 상도로 슬로카 데cho 노송 상도 puyi라.
너르지 말이 너요 말이 내 가자 딱지 망보세 근데 빼쪽 dun스질은 애들이다 빼 가시 마다와 망보도 참망하는 거 주다 땅는 근데 빼도 딱 되려 라소 아니 당 고추기인다 같이 라소
So we'll begin again now.
아니 다 들리도와 아니 콘데 탐치랑 그 셈 이네스 들점 소마미시 대독 장인 초미소 탐치 셈도 또바이 다 디스코데 배 개침버리도와 콘데 탐치랑 그 셈레 마도 이 로네 아니 들점 소마요 마리시 짐신 될때네 대와도 동하라 장당이 초다미 라소바 참아대니 심진 찬낭다 심지 똑발에 송아리 송도와.
In the next verse, we have the words, all of samsara and nirvana are your own mind. They don't arise from anything else in the slightest. Everything such as joy and suffering, good and bad, high and low, are the conceptual constructs of mind. So this is so important, that all of liberation and bondage, samsara, nirvana, arise from our own mind, nothing else. And everything that we experience, joy and suffering, good and bad, are all concepts of the mind.
Atinani ngake the moni talk damagan telang echuranga share cheyo tangyo. Atinani rich love you. Oh, Dari lutin dini yando mandi sansam mount dedok chama rang la to you know. Makan COVID donga sui zuba mari, yakatarpa tonche kange kupa mari. Sna nuji tamchi ransen zamle dunde, yung dinde mepa kota semni jeja. Ote maji sono, dange del
If your mind is pure, you are a Buddha. Wherever you reside is a pure realm. Whatever you do is from the state of the Dharmata. Whatever appears is this jewel display of wisdom. If your mind is of an impure nature, you'll see faults even in the Buddhas. You'll get angry even at your parents. Most things will appear as if they were your enemies.
Chu kawal rodeyo.
Hyun sikche chik songbe.
Mari tatang eti wa chun thong do ai. Sken na ti wa.
Lotus.
Dharma gante malala. Netina la
Okay.
da. Tini tini mala tini. Tini
So
mala.
the body I have right now is a crossroads from which I can ascend or descend. All future well-being is in my own hands. The suffering of samsara below was not made by anyone. The city of liberation above was not built by anyone. Beings in the world are just my own mind. In truth, they don't exist from the side of the objects. Subtle mind, deeply certain of this.
Oh yeah. Okay. Ta di indi chane teni chipanda chirindo wa tatangarang chu tanta yimba ke na chulo yimbe na ani chu yongsu zo ba jikti ku ba bo chik ku ne ani ti ji san dang ne ta tende ji se ke yo nga chu nangbe che chu ngoma de kare chi di chane ge ta me ge zang dang ni de ta do yongsu zo ba chama de 생그 파주네 대처 용화절이 생그 주네 꾸야지 생그 돌은 찬낭마다와지 용화절이 마도 유랑을 나랑츠 낭대와 나이지도 유랑을 디베트파 요 말이지 중심 간이시나 코 땜데 인지 자네 용수 좀 바차마 유치 땜데를 송화절이 다 됐은 거 요리가.
So here we see one of the salient points of Buddha's teachings. You know, in other traditions, other spiritual systems, religions, they have the idea that everything was created by God, by a creator of the world or the universe. And in Buddha's teachings, we have a different kind of explanation. That it is the mind which is the source of the phenomena that we experience. That those things we experience in the world don't exist from their own side or out there, that they are projected, they are imputed by the mind, and that contributes to their existence. That's what really brings them into existence. So this is the distinction. It says that everything is interconnected. There was this interconnection, interdependence between phenomena.
나서 탐지 semje topa ye ranse dana sanje te 강도 늦자 답듯이 지달세제 주닝아 ranse 다 송아이나 가와라 되나야 산제리 송거요리 랑sem 다 송아이 다들 중심 빼침보도 와 ranse 다나 산제리 스기요리 랑sem 다 송아이나 소수지워 빼 타샤르 추랑라 답바레실라 순보조데니 추달라 답바레실라 추바자데니 따티 타든지 인다야나 추랑 랑sem데 다 송아이나 코랑 몰라 뭐 말아 타샤든지 이와이나야 추랑 셈 딱보 왕게 추랑 그 산지는 통로고 있지 리도아 따테페 디나네 nenga 침보진도 당가지 가서 라야레기 핑크모도 삼로 땅고도 틀려 야포치 삼로 랑세 다나 산지 인 초그르웨 저랑 그 랑센데 다성와이나 파ጆ라 몇 독자지요나 대 산지는 통투그르웨시나 통투그리 있어게 요리 가인시나 파조 몇 독자때 ये दुमाने कोरान चेसम नीन में दुखा चिला रुबदे यो मारवा जो त ची मांबो चे का वांग कोरान लेन्यू का वांग तांग तने जुची मांबो चे का वांग तांग अनि छुरांग का ताचर ता नांचो मांथन बा वांगी जो त ची मांबो चे तंदे चे के थोनी फाजो ते याबो मारी सांबा चे ना अच्छा दे ती नवा ते तासवा इना छुरांग गोला सांजी थोंग योरी सके
If your mind is pure, you are a Buddha. Wherever you reside is a pure realm. Whatever you do is from the state of the Dharmata. Whatever appears is the jewel display of wisdom. So this is such a crucial point. You know, that if our own mind is pure, then this transforms what we see as well as ourselves. There might be someone who we just think is a terrible person. You know, we see them always causing problems, but our projection of that person in that state is really a projection of our own mind. It's not that they've always been a terrible person and we're just affirming that. This is something that we're projecting from our own mind, and there's many different causes and conditions to go into having that projection of that person. But if our own mind is pure, then we can see the pure nature of that other person. We can see them as a Buddha. Our whole world can be transformed, you know, if our own mind within is purified.
Tito la samlo tong dele kapse pe masi ta pinto pe chimbo chinjiri ya yonda namba yesi ate lu yongso takpa ne yongso takpa khori yongso takpa zepa yongso takpa asi juba tan zepa yongso takpa asi di yongso takpa namba yete kadu ina ya lu yongso takpa te rani jine zengdao lai rani sabase 네 용서 답 간데 직처럼 대사들 탑죠 어떤데 지나야 대화 진지 신고 고바다위 삼바지세 저런 그 주보도 간데 동인지 간데 지요나야 가 지내서 가 산지 삼바지게 와 린도야 근데 지 디니 삼로다 디토라 아니 홀 용서 답바시 저런 거 dropo promo 남 용서 접바 차 마데 아니 라이라지 라다 라미라지 근데 some 당고 송도 아니 디슴듯이 아니 유거트는 제바 용서 답바 다 칼라사야 다 돌로 주야 당 추자야 라소파티스 콜랑 같이 랍상 추자 안도요 추자리 값어요 아니 랑게 드드미 동 차상도 마단 아니 도지슴바 추 강난 로디 값서 도지슴바 아니 콜드스 파랑게 드드미 동 차상 다소 삼바세 칼라살리 값서 있나요 다 저 참아 거랑 쭈라 용서 좀 참아 개발하는 전도거든요. 이 용서 답변 넘버 이게 칼라살리 값스 아니 컨트롤은 주반 베고요. 나라 초조 득득 답치 컨트롤은 주반 베고요. 삼바. 어떤데 인도 안에 디스코드 백개 침보리죠. 남자 전도 맞죠. 삼로 따지 상하 값이 용서 답변 넘버 이제야 다 디나는 거거든요.
So here we can see the importance of the four complete purities of tantric practice, which are purity of the body, the abode, the entourage, and activities. So see, these are four perspectives of purity that are to be maintained in tantric practice. Purity of the body, seeing oneself as the deity, as like Avalokiteshvara. Seeing one's abode as the pure mandala, the Buddha field of Avalokiteshvara. Then seeing the entourage, the friends, family, you know, as also of the nature of the deity. Seeing the friends and their circle of associates and acquaintances as, and everyone as deities. And then finally in one's actions, one's making them that of purity, where all of our actions, eating, washing, and so on, are transformed, where when we shower, we visualize Vajrasattva on the crown of our head and nectar pouring into us and being purified into the state of Buddha, so being a pure activity in that way. When we eat, feeling that we're making offerings to the three jewels, the Guru, Idam, and Dakini, as we eat. All of our actions, putting on our clothes and so on, become offerings. So all of our actions can be transformed into purity in this way. So here, in this verse, we see an indication of this practice of the four complete purities of Tantra.
야야 삼바 강도 두자 답부시 지다세제 주니가 가능 이시로부지 랑기 심니 마다나 산지 인자 준도 파마라양 콘트로지 나와 파치 다르랑 레도 차단 주미치 디파드 말라다.
Whereas if your mind is of an impure nature, you'll see faults even in the Buddhas. You get angry even at your parents. Most things will appear as if they were your enemies. And in the Tibetan, the next line seems to be included in the verse. So anyway, expectation, fear, attachment, and anger will continue unabated.
다 너도 시든 디나네 가르시에ken도 시드잖아. 남자 윤도 나랑 좀 심송네. 심 답벌시야 돼. 산지 좀 된데게 드라스야 돼. 슬요 말이. 드라스야 돼. 나는 요리지. 나랑 좀 남자 윤도 때 시에게 요로와. 산지 좀 된데게 드라스야 돼. 나는 요리시야. 드라칼 드라 다마데 페나 마릭페 주세바케 팅 코르디네데리케 단진당 아니 되차당 콘트로시당 라소파 텔라소케 요로와. 다데 달리 탑시 데 메리 탑시 주와 이나 아니 가장 가지고 공도 시바나지 사등 탐지에 고요자 되니 고에 갈라랑 람터 잠제 고에는 사등 탐지 요당다 숨바나지 아니 뒤되는데 연구 요리시.
So as Buddha said, the most important thing is for us to take care of our minds. If we think that there are foes or are enemies, they're not to be found outside. The true enemy is within us, unknowing, ignorance, and then its entourage of the afflictive emotions of attachment, aversion, jealousy, pride, and so on. And if we can protect our minds from these negative forces within, then our mind becomes pure. We will be a Buddha. Notice.
사등 탐지 고요 장드니 고에 갈라랑 람터 잠지 고에네 사등 탐지 요당다시 나데 되는데 해거도와.
So we see the meaning of that verse from Śāntideva here, that if we're trying to cover the thorns of the earth with leather, we won't be able to find enough leather. But if we just put soles of leather on the bottom of our feet, then we are protected in the same way, accomplishes the same purpose.
라소 아니 내가 물로미니 미체세 수단 로장 문통라 강도 대장 대와미 제자 유장 효미시 레렌 종양 레레 그친데 나와 잉잉네 추사냠 이라 디나양 답지 앙도 미체세 디바드 말라다.
Expectation, fear, attachment, and anger will continue unabated. Such useless things will waste your life away. Whomever you associate with, there will be discord, and wherever you stay, it will be uncomfortable. However much you own, you won't be content. For everything you accumulate, you'll need that much more.
레렌 종양 레레 그 대말라 아다로 레렌 종양 레레 그 쳇디 나와 잉잉네 추사냠 이라 디나양 답지 앙도 미체세 디바드 말라다.
And being distracted again and again by the appearances of this life, even if you think about practicing Dharma, you'll waste your life caught up in present activities.
오야. 따테페 마시네가 침보리 양아주. Namjung
So
e
these are
chu-
really,
this is
really
really,
important
really,
for us.
really very good teaching, you know. I don't really want to talk too much here because very, very clear. Everybody understand what he say. But it's a problem is we don't do this. We don't really do this. We don't really think this. This is our problems. I don't really need to say too much here, explain, you know. Just think, read again. Read think the meaning, put into your heart with you. Practice daily, every day. Sometimes my student, I want to tell you, really they think that, you know, one time my student say, oh, you should teach like this way to Western people. You should teach like this way, more easy to understand like this, you know. I'm not gonna change the Buddha's teaching like this teaching. Even I cannot change my student mind, I'm not gonna change my, you know, Buddha's teaching like this teaching. I know sometimes people say, oh, this is too strong. Of course. Nghe sam na ngene tane dangwan sang thola phose ya de dangwan cha thola phose ya de pe na mechigla zupola na cha yo na mecha ya kam khap ja karwa aka pension se kadwa te karite ni ya kar chi na cha de kawalan do tan ti thola kang chung ti kam khap ja ga yo ta chusi ya de pe ti na yin ro ko ri su churang na chusi ya de ha ndra cha bo churang. Oh, you are so nice. You don't have to change anything. You are a very good person. You are this is called chumare. Yabuji song tawina. Choose ya the kadamba gavishi na be chukande song you are tina insin ngachi. Ti jisen down the tibasi, ti jisen down the sambasi, ti jisen down the gombasi ina. Any unetane danga sangatola posiati. Oh, younger you is. Sabah.
So I really think, you know, that the most profound teaching is that which points out our faults, which uncovers our problems and faults, and address them directly. Sometimes, as Rinpoche was saying, people ask to make it easier. He says, I'm not going to change the teachings, because, you know, it's just like in acupuncture. If there's, you know, some blockage in the flow of energy in the body, then the needle is put right on that point. You know, so it's the remedy goes right to where the problem is. So I think, you know, this is the true Dharma that we see embodied in the Kadam tradition.
Ola so choose anyam yila tina yang tabzi ngangdo metse says. Choose anyam that thing some way latin yuri. Oh, I like your teaching. I want to come to your teaching, but unfortunately I cannot come today. Yesterday I texted my another friend. They really like it actually, but I don't know, you know, sometimes the Dharma is the当我去对三个有的，他去了人汤着的，其他这个么东西。本来的人去这些个有那，那么这个去这送呢，参加了这个有呢。第参的咱们去的了学了这个人啊，的人俺你工商里错印着了参加了这个意思呢。哦，这错印着了参加了这个意思啊，的。去个人汤着的，那当的去的，这给进步人吧的。Tapi sida masih dewa anda cipta sang tende doa, cu sahnya mila tina yang tabzi ngang do mece se. Tas hani sigi, lo jima sigi, dawa jima sigi, denda jima sigi. Si sampai sini lah yona yang kau tende sini lelok, oh tende sini mece se roko yuri sumbari.
So expectation, fear, attachment, and anger will continue unabated. Such useless things will waste your life away. So sometimes I think, you know, we just don't really think about the true value of the Dharma. We don't really think about how precious it is. if we were faced with a choice, well, there's going to be, a retreat, the Lama will be giving such and such a teaching, but we know, oh, that's my vacation time. I'm going to be able to go and have a good time, go to the beach. We may very well decide, to go to the beach. So, we just really don't value the Dharma as much as it's worth, and we think, oh yeah, I'll do it tomorrow or next week or next month, and in this way, then our whole life passes before our eyes.
라소. 애니 인정 소마 집가 요체 릉버 투탐라. 텝네 칼라양 캅라양 세나지 무기살바 집체. 라마텔 지메테 요네 손나 록다지시. 인정 소마 집값이야. 인정세야 디니 말라다. 인정 사바지니 값스. 아이 나랑 그 요체 참말리 동투사리 삼산다지. 인정 부스 마시야 돼 요거 요러.
Okay, there was another verse that passed there. Being distracted again and again by the appearances of this life, even if you think about practicing Dharma, you'll waste your life caught up in present activities. At first, when you feel a sense of renunciation, you'll feel like you could be rid of each and everything you own. Once you become intractable, you'll cling even to needles. So when we first develop a sense of renunciation, we might feel like, oh, I'll give up everything, Lotus.
라소 다트시 테페 카사보도 시에고모도 라마 텔레지메디 요레 소나 록다치 트나양 무기살바치 베체 라마 텔레지메디시 무기살반다치 담봉임종다치 담봉임종당 담봉 무근다치 에니 값스니 라마테 오 삼바치시 에니 칼레 파치르 소와이나 에니 양테 또 차네데리인데 야 라마 텔라양 아니 요는 뭐 소와이나 아니 록다치 에니 요거 요리시.
At first, when you feel a sense of devotion, you won't think of anyone except your guru. After a while, you'll have wrong views. So Rinpoche says, these words are pretty clear. I don't think I need to say much about it. But, towards in the beginning, we may feel, a lot of faith and devotion to the guru. And be ready to renounce everything for the practice, but as time passes, we lose focus, we become jaded, and then we start to see things as wrong, faults. We think that even the guru has such and such a fault.
Gene tamji insoyin tundro saba nibitu rangle te liso chi aksalan dardang tatusiko pe kasaboriya wasonda.
At first, when you feel a sense of faith, your spiritual practice will pile up one on top of the other. It means you'll just be trying to do one practice after another. But as you get older, all of this fades away. Whenever you find a new friend, you value their life more than your own. So again, these words are quite clear in their meaning.
Tate tinsan tende yongodoa depa sarpasina and namba sarpate de patano do. Ani lama hacha mambochi sala kasakala jugodoa. Ombo ti lama de dao te dawachi sati yang te payo. Yang lama jibachi salando. Yang ti jindi chushu yang te pahe. Ko andu sinde jiojin takparashila. Tende yongodoa depa sarpa kapsune gibjo chik to niba. Gibjo chik sindule kaso. Tene lama chik sung chushu ndo kono tate yabo ta sani tele tas che sama. Ani tende sine tende yongodoa tensan o niba nsi. Ani so ge tende ni kapsune so chama pa meli chano gri. Ani te isita kang tar chang chusi atela men tu de korang. Nima chik nahi. Nima chik nahi men tu de song dewa ina. Ani chu sung ju yong so jok pa chu de lama sok sung na yang saji chom de ne chu sung go yori chi pa cha de yori. Ta sung dang ti sa manda wari ma to. Ani lam chik lama chik chu chik nyam ni se dewa ina. De ke de yori ta. Ine ngarang chu chik samsul la o ta tele te ta ayong samba chik ni tende yong de ke sarwa. La so.
So we see this sometimes, especially in people that are new to the Dharma, new to the practice. They get really excited about it. In this verse, at first, when you feel a sense of faith, your spiritual practice will pile up one on top of the other. Rinpoche interprets that as meaning, we're so excited about the Dharma. We receive teachings from one teacher, but then, after about a month with them, we're attracted to another teacher. We go to them, and so, it's a kind of a fickle engagement with the Dharma. So ideally, Dharma is to be practiced in a continual stream, and it's not so important, who the teacher is. They're all giving the teaching of Buddha. The main thing is if oneself puts it into practice steadily, it's really sufficient to have one teacher, one practice, one Dharma. You don't need many different sources.
한데는 튼로 사바 니부투 랑레 데르 소치 악사 얀레 다르당 디슴데 휴마인 방아 준 직딩게 토니 등상되는 도와 튼로 시나얀다다 조포 조모들이 이제 가서 사바를 통는데 담부 값서 가르치사리 삼상시 랑레장 발리도 쪼치와지세 아니 로다 다와르메 이제 소마인 아니 파ጆ데 달랑 어떻게 연구요리 스타든 직딩 취니로와 건 직딩 지 로당 코와지 로당.
But whenever you find a new friend, you value their life more than your own. Once your enthusiasm fades away, you'll be upset with them as if they were your enemy. So this is kind of the worldly situation. When we become infatuated with someone as a new friend, we feel like we would give our life for them. But then, with time, it changes. Attachment changes to aversion. And so this is the nature of samsara, the nature of worldly existence. That's how it goes.
대다 탐지 자와네 라생 치마 심벨린 나 대다 그 대다 용수 좀 자와데 랑그 심데 축마심 바시 축마심 바 랑그 심데 종 마타바 랑그 심데 그 치축시 마타바 다 용수 좀바 공그 강아데 강데네 강아 망보도와 설런 로라야 멘트 강래 대장 대바미 아니 제삼 제장 초심이 다 강데네 망보지 송송아 로폴런 로나야 아니 스난제 근데 용 참아 자와데 아니 심 아니 더마타와 왕 심 마더와 왕 송아리 신의 대송야.
The root of all of these is not taking your own mind to be paramount. So the crucial problem with all of these things that have been mentioned, the changing of friendships and relationships, the disillusionment with a teacher, the lack of contentment, and so on, that all of these are rooted in not taking care of our own mind.
다 벽이 얘기나나 부인나나 대다 탐지 자와네 라세 치마 심벨린시도 찬도 붙이데 아니 마베 카히라 라신 소마 심벨린시 사나로 소티 카히치 니도 다들 치바게 문도 또 너도 시도 랑게 심들 마타바 랑게 심도 오도 좀 마타바 디왕가 소마리 이소아 되지 고고도와.
So there's some differences in root texts here. In other words, cherishing is taking care of our own mind, or if it's the fresh experience of our own mind. But the meaning here is that all of these problems arise from not taking care of our own mind.
랑세 꼬르뜨빠나 위네 힌든 철무그 랑세 꼬르뜨빠나 위네 힌든 철무그 남도 미나 민바이 라마스는 철무그 아주 이제도 빼야보도와.
If you're able to make use of your mind, then you don't need to search for some other place of retreat. when concepts are absent, that is your retreat.
Tati rāngsī kōrdu tūpa nāsiyā teke ngārāng chō tata ritu gō yore. Le tāmbō pala gō ndugā menduk sōsi sēnla tāki chīda. Nima re re la nī namdō ngīmbā kācē yōngkondō, namdō zambō sēnā yā gēwa sēm kācē yōngkondō. Tati yīmdū chāne, dī nāni rāngsī kōrdu tūp siyā teke ngārāng chū tī sācī chōlam tāng, jōlam tāng, thōlam tāng, gōmlam tende ka lāngā nāni tī sā sēmla dur jōng tīmne. O tende chi lam koma la ya lip soma ina ani rāngsī kōrdu tūpiri. Pēne jibchū mila re pa le tāmbō pa kāpsu ritu la pēmdo wa. Kari chi de pēbi si di tāni rāngsī ta kōrdu māta pa wāngi ani ritu la pēbi. Ritu ni mā pēbdo wa jini. Ritu ni mā kari chi pēbi ani kora rāngsī kōrdu tūpne. O ta kawa la de na ya ani gōm. Me nyam de de na ya, sui na ya gōm. Ani de na ya gom, sung na ya gom. Ani ta wimba si na lo so ting ma go a chi sing ko thola cha de zane. Ani ma mi che so thu lai pen de nang do wa. O de so go yuri. Wi ne yin de chon mo.
So about being able to make use of your own mind, this is indicative of reaching some level of experience and realization, say passing through some of the first paths of the path of accumulation, of preparation, and onwards. When we're a beginner, we're not able to make really use of our own mind. So that's why we need to go into retreat. It's up to us to examine, what our needs are. What state are we in? Are we subject to a lot of afflictive emotions in our day-to-day life or not? For Milarepa, at first he was, and so he went into retreat, and that was how he gained control of his own mind, the direction of his own mind. But then, after he had gained those kinds of realizations and could make use of his own mind, then it didn't matter. He could go out into society, he could go out among people, and whether the situation was pleasant or unpleasant, whether there was troublesome people around or not, didn't make any difference. He was able to meditate in all of those situations.
No la so ta de ke lama ser chol mo gu simi lama sanjin. Gebjur thulu to mo gu. Yimi gebjur himbo yi. Yewa chi de pang mo gu tin shi tin na ran ro ri. O ti ko de pa.
You don't need to search outside for the Guru. The nature of mind is the enlightened Guru. You don't need to worry about other spiritual practices to be done. Being without distraction is the heart of spiritual practice. You don't need to deliberately abandon distractions. If your mindfulness is firm, things are spontaneously liberated.
That's all. Ta di nani nga chu kare ko gon do si di chane. Le tambo pa kapsu lama tingori yisi. Tata ngarang chu ina kadin sumding ke tsab lama siyate. Sosu kiwi ngola, sosu kiwi lama te hacha kadin chimbori. Ngarang chu sanju simpe lama chi nye ka madawa. Nga chu sanji ka lama te nye ka madawa. Nga chu le mimba le tambo pa indi cha. Le tambo pa chila le tambo pa lama te pe kadin chimbori. Nga chu kadin sumding ke tsab lama, tharpa lamdung ke tsab lama siyate sanji la shek yo mari. Sanju simpe lama la shek yo mari. Sosu kiwi lama te la shek yo. Kain sina Khora durzan durzi ka wangi, le tam molang ka wangi, ngarang chu ngolan tunde li chike. Hacha pinto chimbo chimbo setela yong du chane, de kadi sumding ka tsawa lama. De tharpa lamtung chimbo. Ta tele kading chesam isi sheki. Tendi yung du chane, any le tambo pa kapsu nga chu lama tsar ko. Lama tsar imbi kapsu, lama tambo te sona.
Now, when we're a beginner, we need a guru. We need a teacher. Konta Rinpoche yang kya tet srolang ala den sorona.
알레 담보부 값을 라마틴 거를 라마틴도 아니 나츠 소수 지워로 와 소수 지워 대가 라마를 남바슴도 와 소수 지워 라마 산체 심벨 라마 산제가 라마 티서에도 나츠 라마니데 나츠 yar리고 고가라기요 말.
Toshina. So, we've referred to the guru of the three kindnesses, the guru who would give us initiations, transmissions, and instructions. So it's especially, singled out as being the kind guru. Who is that guru? It's that guru that we have when we're a beginner, when we need a teacher. Teachers can be in an ordinary aspect, or they can be in the aspect of a bodhisattva, or they can be in the aspect of a Buddha. But at our beginning level, we don't have access to such gurus who are bodhisattvas, Arya bodhisattvas, and Buddhas. We only have access to a guru who appears to us in an ordinary aspect. So in the beginning, we need this guru, and it's that guru who is there for us when we are an ordinary person. This is the guru that shows us the great kindness, when we're in need of it.
라소 아니 삼발라를 대요.
라유.
네. 네, 가장 치를 쉬운 바에서 꼭 잡을 지켜서 때라 아니 대리자 삼바 디나니 데마 쭉찍게 나한테니 아니 데마 쭉찍게 당 데마 쭉찍게 나니 스강 쇼로가 니슈 짜독데
Lolas.
말라다 네 말라 담보 보여야 되게라 오 맞아 네 말라죠 네 보게 오 맞지 축그 라마 예라지 망가 론주 예다라 두제 꼰자 뚜근도 칸주자 작성 꼰도 동사라래 라 예밥 된제 라마 잘시나 나시 라마시나 타지 아니 지데라 담보 라마 타말 빠른 나 데네 라마 산지 우스고 타말 라마라세 니드 또 수지 빼 라마 투지 수자 된제 라마는 잘시나 양다 된제 타지는 거마이 올라서 드니 요거 때문에 중로 동아 소진 간나야 다서 라메 당와 만통나 니모 차동 주탑 메다베 신의 빠딘 라메 당와 랑오미 투상 공비 주토네 띠디 자상고나 탈지인시 라서.
So Rinpoche cited the three verses at the end of chapter 3 in his excellent Path of Freedom, the Jewel Ornament of Liberation in brief, on page 11 and 12, verses 26, 27, and 28. The unaltered entity is the Dharmakaya Guru. Unceasing nature is the Sambhogakaya Yidam deity. All-pervading compassionate energy is the Namanakaya Dakinis. Incorporating the three kayas, the deity of our own clear, empty mind, understanding that we are meeting the primordial ultimate Guru. If we see all of existence as the Guru, that is the ornament of liberation. First, the Guru appears to us as ordinary. Then we understand the Guru is Buddha in actuality. Finally, we realize the Guru is our own mind itself. If by compassion of the symbolic Guru, we meet the actual Guru that is symbolized, that is the perfect ultimate ornament of liberation. Even if we cross the great ocean of Sutra and Tantra scriptures, if we don't partake of the cool, clear instructions of the Guru, there is no way to heal the terrible disease of delusion. Knowing this, controlling our mind by insatiably listening, contemplating, and meditating on the glorious Guru's instructions, if we reach the state of Buddhahood, that is the ornament of liberation.
올라서 라소 아니 다들이 같은 디 춘삼등에 텔레자요기 아니 다 텔라 같이 다들이 산이 다들이 문에 같은 참이 몇 개잖아 the Chinambalang Rekursiala, Chinamba Satya Kawala de Kamba Kawala Juk, Karichikona, Tateringa, Samla Deo Sambachik Tinshina, and Samla Deo Sambachik. And Samla Deo Sia.
So we'll stop with our instructions here, and now I'd like to encourage you, wherever you are, to maintain an attitude, a recollection of being in retreat for these days.
Is it?
So this is a very short time that we have, 1 or 2 days. I feel kind of sad that it's so short.
Sad, man, is it a little bit, I don't know, everybody should do and the retreat in your house. Actually, there's a pandemic. It's good and bad. And the good side is that you can do right now in your home, maybe just a retreat here. Last 2 years, it's very, 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 very important. I don't know, my mind is always, it's so important, it's Dharma to us. Especially right now, the today world, what's going on, what happened, you can see it every day, you can hear it every day. It's not very good news. It's so important, it's to keep your mind and body speech. It's Dharma. I don't know how to say these things. Tani di chane tani ya sabata kan tar chang ngarang ke samchula ani pe masi nga cho chama kawa zambo sunam chimbo tani jeri ani tereng ni ma telani ta nga chamla de yo saba ani sem kawa ta towa tani nang ani shongna tereng ki ni mo telachi marse pa ya tang ani che da din ba che tu su yong na ya bo yo ro tani she ani ni ma chi ni ma shi yo ma re o tani nang na ya bo yo ri si.
So we are so fortunate to be applying ourselves to the Dharma and having this opportunity to really focus on it. So with a feeling of great joy, let's try to make this as meaningful a time as we can.
Also, you can be vegetarian today, one day, Yeah. Also, I don't want to take my dinner. I already take the, the karasa thing as so young go don't bother tanan shokan and shu chai. The lady and the tame the chen. Tangi Terenki Nimati Nima Mandawachi Langarang Chiki in Sambachik. Terenki Nimati Nima Zambo Chilang in Juratang in Sambachik. Or the Nana Yabo Yuris.
So I myself took the Mahayana precepts this morning, and so I'm also not having an evening meal, and really have a sense of making this into a very blessed, special day.
So
it's not that beneficial to just talk about the Dharma. What's really beneficial is for us to contemplate and meditate on it. So now we have 20 minutes until noon. Let's meditate during this time.
The Gomjali Kapsu, same Gotoni Gomjane, any Tana Gongla, Lama Kozing can Rishi Tapswa, any tea Tony Chiranto Yang Kashi, Le Tambo Banana, the Pinto Chimbo, Tina Yins in the Gomjana, into Kiyos. And in Namja Junta, she had the Kapsu. Keep you Kayo Mazene. Tata Ranga Sina. And do you sit down in Kapsu? chiang la ma shi wa chi sar singi tong sangi tong chami chi yuwa di ngo vi to le ja ne ane de la yung tong tong xie zhang mang bo xie ne o de de jing zhuo dang ge gong ji yu de yi xi.
So you can do meditation as Lama Thay Kozen explained, or you can do meditation as I often give, is to be aware of the present moment of our awareness in its total clarity and leaving it unaltered, unfabricated, just focusing on the very nature of our present moment of awareness.
Yung thong la ani zhang ma wo di gom de yung thong thong ji la ka ma ni se chi nan de ka ma nga se chi nan de ka ma ji le chi nan de yung thong thong se zhang ma bo chi ne de chi za na ya bu yu ri xi.
And this meditation is well done in short durations many times. So you can even do it for 1 minute, for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes, but just do it repeatedly.
Okay, this is the one. This is the one. What happened? This is the one, and another one is that you can look at the object. Whatever you have in the front of you, and the flower, and the tankas, stretch, and just objects, things. Just look there. Then your mind, through your eye, goes into the object, like go there. How long your mind stay the object with the object? The later your mind is no longer there, the move. This is the steadiness and the movement and awareness. We call Nepa, Jowa, Rigpa. Ambo se in this yellow tongue ni kapsa, yurti tala ne wayna tele Nepa se. Any yurte junum bochi manene tin junrawatila and Joasi. Any Josungkin the range jutela and Rigpa se. Ani tela andu sine yon to sine ta dele kapsa tambu kapsa yurte semte yor ko thola ne ala pe kale khabu ani palam chine kale gomja yale kapsa ani semla ma lu da chi pame kanga sheda me jun da chi ndu yong yore ani thama tela ani ne pa tan juwa ri pa yong so so pa chama chi gun di ne ani ri pa ngang la zo ne ri pa se Ada semta rikpa ni si she ka do ani jokchin ka taw thola chle mi chane rikpa khorang ngo la le bi ya chi o de chi yu ri si o de gom jan de na de yu.
So you can also use an object, directing your mind to the object through your visual consciousness, and then work with the principle of movement, stillness, and awareness. At first it's difficult to get your mind to settle and to stay on the object, but once it does, then you have this quality in the mind of stillness or remaining or staying. But then once that shifts, then there's movement that occurs in the mind. So it's up to awareness to notice that and saying, oh, movement has occurred. And then eventually, these three factors of stillness, movement, and awareness conjoin, all in one experience of the awareness. So it all becomes, in Rigpa in Tibetan, pristine awareness. In the Dzogchen teachings, there's distinction made between ordinary mind, or Sem, and Rigpa, pristine awareness. Eventually, this meditation will arrive at that pristine awareness of Rigpa, where movement and stillness are all subsumed in that pristine awareness.
양자 때려지 있다. 삼바. 데마 숨쉬 데마 니시 잡되나니 다때 시바 맙지 소만데 진싱 안에 마잉 라맙 내간 주도 이주 도다와 주다 썸데가 수드르 뻥어 동 다냥한테 차와이 ramyong 신이 나타지 내람에 찬줄람에 당시 신이 가는 저가 가와니 르프 도친 도도 송와나 간샤 지미 소문내롱어 맙지 빠다 감보 빠이로 춘드신다 타징어 마이 데바 넘버 또 비지면랑 마오 또 풍무스면사시 다들 시바 맙지 뉴멍아 까다 이차 숨랑 오니 사조 순종되지 명한데 럭바 냠슬랑나 타지 니시 나는이나 따와이 이미 르모짱나 곰바이 간샤 가드 맙지 쭈바이 장애래도 매번 되이 간네 따공집에 명한데 가미 냠슬랑나 타지 맙지 대가리 잡아 니네와 뇨와 주드 메바 살레와 르동우선 뇨와 르게와 간샤 론데 주다 지네와 사레 예동지미 예레와 냠뇽 너네 샤나 타지
Rinpoche quoted verses 68 to 71 in his excellent Path of Freedom, Jewel Ornament of Liberation in brief. Not attached to stillness or averse to movement.
Wait, Samba, 67. From 67.
Okay, so from verse 67 to 71. Dropping into our own present moment of awareness, fresh, unaltered, with mindfulness and alertness, without distraction, not thinking of stillness as good and movement as bad, in pure awareness, inexpressible beyond thought, understanding concepts and emptiness to be equal. If you develop certainty in your own experience, that is an ornament of liberation. Not attached to stillness or averse to movement. When from the sky of mind's true nature, snow of movement falls upon the hot stone of awareness, whatever appears leaves no trace. If we understand Gampopa's method of not altering the fresh, present mode of existence, that is an ornament of liberation. Not following after thoughts of the past or anticipating and welcoming thoughts of the future, with inborn, unaltered, present awareness, not finding past, present, and future in primordial purity. If we practice this essential instruction that unifies Mahamudra and Dzogchen, that is an ornament of liberation. That discovered in definitive knowledge is the view. Cultivating pure awareness without distraction is meditation. Not rejecting, not approving, not altering whatever appears is conduct. Being beyond hope and fear is the result. Practicing these important precepts of view, meditation, and action is an ornament of liberation. Leaving it as it is, unaltered, is peaceful. Experience inexpressible is vividly clear. Direct experience of awareness emptiness is wide awake. Whatever appears is beyond intellect, free of fabrications, naked. Primordially pure, clear awareness, free of grasping, pristine. If this appears in your own experience, that is an ornament of liberation.
라소. 어다 디스콜 나마 카시진도와 지난 라마 코징글 시바타듯이 아니 시네시 단디 나니 숨바나시시 탑라 만다와 카시도와 다 가레데나 뜻이네 공까마 카시지 자긴 인생아주.
So let's meditate for some minutes now. You have that choice of the loving kindness meditation, or a shamatha or calm abiding meditation, or the meditation that's just been described.
Oh, lasso. Lasso ni. I don't chute, I don't chante. And the Jackie. And you go Jalo Chusuni Banimara.
Starting from now, we'll stop now. We'll commence again at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, right? 2 o'clock, okay. Lasso. Dajin Sinjin Damjia Lodges and over Sinjia Lobdos, Julamdan over Sinjia Lobdos, Lantubas, Sinjia Lobdos, Antubai, and Javara Sinjia Lobdos. Lasso, Namje Jedam Timbaye, Jedar Sambaye, Jinda Bada, Nedonki so, but the Jibel so, Yavara Sinjia Lobdos. Zopasan Jubala Satanam don't say why part the Jubatam Jegoni Varashivaran Zed.
May the minds of all sentient beings turn towards the Dharma. May the path, may that Dharma become the path. May the path be freed of deception. May deception arise as innate wisdom.
Lasso, and it any gon Jalong at Chitula, and it is so rana. Tande Gine, any Amitabha, and it listen, or Bagachua Dibachum Handins. So Rasona Gon Jalola.
If we have time in the afternoon, I want to do a brief practice of Amitabha also. As Rinpoche mentioned before, I remember, said if our own mind is purified, then the world that we experience will be the world of Sukhavati or Dewa Chen in Tibetan.
Oh, that's Tochinang. And then see you 2 o'clock. Should you